This is a cabled square called Gwyneth's cable, and it's got this really interesting zigzag cable pattern that is highlighted with these post stitches. And one good thing about this square is that it's almost the same on the back, so you don't really have a right side, wrong side, which is always nice for Afghan, so they look nice from both sides. And so on this square, we're going to learn how to make post stitches, which are these, and we're going to learn how to make cables. So let's get started, and I'm working on the second row of the pattern. And after this first setup row, which is all double crochets, every row of this repeat is almost the same. So it might seem a little tricky for the first row, but after you understand that row, you're going to be good to go with this square. And so on this next row, I've had to work a few double crochets, which is explained in the pattern. And next I work a front post treble crochet. Now a treble crochet is yarn over twice. And to work a post stitch, instead of inserting the hook into the top of the stitch the way you normally do, you insert it around the post of the stitch of the row below. So you insert your hook around that post, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then complete the stitch as you normally would, just yarning over and pulling through 2 loops, and we do that 3 times. And the next step is a double crochet in the next stitch. Now, one thing to remember about post stitches is that you've technically already worked this stitch, so you have to skip it behind when you work the next stitch. So the next stitch goes into these loops, and this one remains unworked. It was technically worked, it was just worked around the post instead of into the top of the stitch. So here we work a regular double crochet, and now we start the cable. The cable is worked, since these are long stitches, these are double trebles. Double treble is yarn over 3 times. Then we skip the next 3 stitches and we insert into the 4th stitch. So we're reaching all the way over to the 4th stitch and completing the double treble, which takes a minute because there's so many loops to work through, and we need to work 3 of those. So that was number 2. Here's the third, or the second rather. And then one more, so we yarn over 3 times, insert and pull up a loop, and then just yarn over and pull through 2 loops at a time until you're completed. And now we need to, in order to make the cable twist, we need to go back and work this cross. So it's another double treble, we yarn over 3 times, and then you reach behind the stitches you've already worked, back to this first open stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then just complete the stitch. Now it feels a little awkward because you're sort of twisting and reaching, but this is what makes the crossed effect of the cables. So once you get the hang of it, it doesn't seem so odd, and you'll see after you work a couple rows that you're getting a beautiful crisscross cable. So I just need to work one more here. Yarn over 3 times. And this will complete my first cable. Now we need to go back to the next stitch, which is all the way back here, because these were the post stitches, or not the post stitches, the double trebles that we worked for the first part of our cable. So this is the next stitch we're going to work, and we're just working a double crochet, and that sort of anchors the work back down to the level it needs to be at. And then we're going to work another post stitch in the next stitch, and that's what creates this line going up through the middle. Then one more double crochet, and then we start the next cable. Now the next cable is worked just like, now remember to skip that stitch behind in order to work the next double crochet. The next cable is worked exactly like the one we just learned, except it crosses in the other direction. And so in order to get that cross going in the other direction, you have to, after you work those first 3 double trebles, you're going to go in front of those to work the next 3. So that's what makes the cable wrap in a different direction. And then otherwise you just continue working the rest of the row according to what we've already learned. And once you get the hang of it, this pattern is actually quite easy, and it goes very fast because he's got these big, bulky, tall stitches. And so in no time, your beautiful square will be done. It looks very fancy and impressive. So I hope yours turns out great.